All right, guys, so the first part of this video series, when we're talking about my specific curriculum for white to blue belt, is going to be the 3 fundamentals of shrimping, 12-9, and Granby rolls. And the reason I start with those is when you're first starting out, unless you wrestled at a high level, you're pretty much going to start your career in jiu-jitsu on your back. So I want you to get so comfortable with being able to get off of your back or get back to your guard that when you start to build a process of a guard itself, you don't have fear of attacking. Because what happens a lot of times is you get so comfortable with closed guard that you think that's just going to be your almighty savior. But you want to have the ability to be able to, attack. Like if Josh is in closed guard and he can just hold me for 10 minutes, that's cool. But I would rather Josh be able to put me in closed guard and then not have the fear of never getting his guard back and then start attacking triangles and whatnot. So these are kind of the fundamental 3 that I really work with people on. So the first one we're going to do is just going to be your elbow to knee escape, shrimp, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just going to break down a little bit of my philosophy that was taught to me of how I like to teach this. So the first thing we're going to talk about is defensive elbow. So we're not even worried about his legs and we're not even worried about this side of his body right now. It's just this elbow. This elbow is so important because remember, when I'm on top, my enemy is space. When Josh is on bottom, his friend is space, right? So that's the battle. Who's going to win our friendship? So when he takes this elbow here and he kind of takes his hand here, and what he would normally do is he would take the length of his arm from his elbow to this hip bone and his palm kind of on this elbow. And what this really does is, A, you can see it already creates space, because if this isn't in here, look how much closer I am to him. So this frame creates space, plus it allows him to kind of conserve a little bit of energy. If he kind of keeps his hand a little bit stiff here and I start to go north-south, look how the hand follows me. I can never really get my knee to his ribs and I can't get around to his head. So this is what we call defensive elbow. So this is, to me, is the most important thing. If I have Josh in side mount and his elbow is out, his first thing that he should be doing is trying to just bridge and shrimp a little bit to get that elbow in. Right now, there's already probably 5 inches of space that he didn't have before that he now has. So defensive elbow. The next thing and the most common thing I see is especially starting out, is this arm is going to get isolated. It's just the way it is. For me to submit him, I need to isolate the limb. It's just like if he's weightlifting, right? He might be stronger than me and he can dumbbell a lot, but if I take his arm away and I start pressing it out here and isolate the limb away from the core of the body, it's not going to be as strong. So that's what I'm looking for on top. So maybe he has this defensive elbow, but his arm's kind of away from his body. What a lot of people do from here is, especially when they're in the beginning stages, they try to bring their arm this way, but now it starts to isolate itself. I can catch it and start attacking it. So I like to do what we call rubber banding the arm. He's going to keep his palm on my neck, and now he's going to rotate his elbow over top and then drive this frame, right? So I'm big on framing. Framing is here and here. And a way that I like to describe this for my guys, if Josh turns his chest towards you, here like this, he sticks this arm just by itself out here. I want you to keep my body weight up. Here. Now I want you to put your hand underneath here and put your elbow on the ground. So now this has become the frame, and now I can hold my entire body weight with really using 0 energy. Because when you start doing jiu-jitsu and you find out being strong for 30 seconds is great, right, Josh? Yes, but it's not great when there's 6 minutes left and now you're exhausted because all that strength just went out the window. So when we can use these proper frames, now all that disappears. So he has a nice here. His arm's isolated outside. He does the correct thing and loops it, and now he builds these frames. So now I'm really having trouble keeping my chest on it. The next thing he wants to do is take this frame and create an underhook. Just like stand-up wrestling, stand-up anything, underhook's king, right? On the ground, stand-up, it doesn't matter. This underhook is going to save you. So what he wants to do here is he's going to do a bridge to create the underhook. But a lot of guys, if he's doing it without a body, will keep their legs far away and they'll try to bridge up here. And look how the farther his hips comes up. If he slides his heels to his butt and now he bridges up onto his toes, look at the difference in that. Now my upper body is coming up with him and his speed is going to beat me. So what he's going to do here, as his hips start to go down, he's going to do almost like he's saying the Pledge of Allegiance to his chest here. And now he's going to rotate it underneath my body and get a nice underhook. Because he doesn't want an underhook where he's just like half underneath he wants to be underhook, right? This is an underhook. This is an under wrist, right? It's not a hook. He's just got his wrist underneath me a little bit. So we're talking about now he's created this frame, right? He did everything correctly. He bridges up correctly. Boom, he drops this down to his chest and now rotates in. Now look at all the space. Like the shoulder's off the ground now. The pin is gone. I have no control of his lower, basically this side of his body is just free. Like it's hard for me. I can't even really push into him or he's going to sweep me. But right now we're not worried about taking the guy down. We're just worrying about regarding. So from here, we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to come towards you because this is going to be the next part that I want to talk about. So we talked about frames, right? His defensive elbow is a frame. This is a frame on my neck. He bridges up and gets his underhook towards you guys. Yep, boom. So now, the next thing he wants to do, he's going to step this top leg back a little bit and he's going to create space. But now what he wants to do is turn yourself this way just a hair.
This one?
Yep, no, towards the chest, towards the camera. And he's going to connect his elbow and his knee together. Now, what is this? Now it's an even bigger frame. It was the frame the length of his forearm. Now it's the frame is the length of his wrist down to his ankle. So if I'm on top of him, and he has this underhook here, now look, I can't get my knee to his head, and I can't get my knee to his lower body. So now he's really created a nice frame here, right? He's really strong here. Like I can come underneath and kind of get under his head. But look, even if as long as he connects these and keeps them connected, even if I flatten him down, look what that frame does to my hip. I'm in the air, right? So now all Josh has to do, and we'll do this from the other side so you guys can see, he'll make one more back step with his leg and make a nice shrimp, moving his hips away, and now drive that knee to that elbow again, and now we're regarding. So away from you, he's built this frame away from you guys, so you won't be able to see, but he's made this connection. He's turned in a little bit. He has his underhook. He steps this leg back. He makes a movement of his butt away, and now he drives this knee back through. Boom. And the nice thing here is we have the same color gi on, so sometimes it makes it kind of strange. When he's shrimping like this and he's stepping back, you don't have to do this movement. His defensive elbow becomes a frame that allows his knee to come through that hole, right? If he goes to shrimp, he does all this work and connects all this together, and he has the underhook, but when he goes to shrimp, he moves this arm out of the way, it's all gone now. I'm going to flatten him down. This defensive elbow, the very first thing we talked about, is still in the exact same place, and now when he shrimps and goes away, it's still doing its job, right? I still cannot get to him. This just creates more space for his knee to drive through the hole. So to me, that fundamental movement, you will use pretty much your entire jiu-jitsu career.